All right, now for all you yoga practitioners out there who want to somehow tie in yoga and singing, some of the greatest singers in history were yogis at very advanced. Helge Svanger did 3 hours of yoga a day for 55 years and could sing anything and did. And I met him when he was 69 in Munich. He was still singing. We were colleagues. He was still singing just fantastic with a huge voice. And I wanted to show this, what that is. That's one of the many chakra charts. And in yoga, they talk about chakras, which are points of meditation, concentration, breathing. Each one releases a different kind of energy in the body. There's one way down at the tip of the tailbone. And in different types of yoga, this is closer to the Hatha styled concept of the chakras. But the Kundalini style is they put everything on the opposite side, up and down the back. So it's very interesting. And then to compare this diagram of Lamperti's demonstration of how to breathe and support out of his book. So you can look at this for yourself and figure out which chakra do you think Lamperti was recommending. Which chakra would they have been using if they had been yoga people? See that? Which one is it that's sitting right there in the belly? See that? Right there. And there it is. So we go through all of the chakras and we're simply going to say, we're going to learn how to sing on all of them. And we're going to see how this works. Let's say we start with that one in the middle. Somebody go, ah. I'm going to take a breath behind me and go, ah, ha, 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 ah, ha, ha, ha. There it is. I've got it. Ah, ha, 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 la. And I'm using that chakra, or that point of leaning. The Italians call it il punto d'appoggio. But it was il, a singular, so they also picked one. It was very famous. Of course, since then, things have varied. Different people use different ones. But let's just go through them all, and let's see where they go. Here's the heart chakra. Look where that's sitting, right there. See? So Tetrasini said in her book to breathe way down your lower back and fill up from the bottom to the top, and then lean the breath over against your sternum, the way you would lean a ladder against the wall. So that would be the heart chakra, which is that one right there. So I go, la, ha, 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 ha. La, how are you today? I'm feeling fine. If I put it back here again, how are you today? I'm feeling fine. You're going to find that the way you use your breath is going to affect your voice. Sometimes slightly, sometimes very dramatically. Now, let's go up here. Look at that. See that one at the base of the throat? It's in what they call the sternal notch, which is that hole right there, right? The only singer I knew who sang that way successfully was Maio Domenico, who had a fantastic long career, sang Otello 467 times, never had a vocal problem. He was a real chakra singer. He sang on that chakra all the time. And he used to demonstrate like this. I studied with him for 5 months. He would do this. So you would get the breath stop up against that point. And you would sing there. And he sang like that. You go, ah, ah, ora per sempre, addio, santa memoria. And of course you can do it for hours and hours and hours and not get tired because it is one of the chakras and it's in alignment. And you have to breathe constantly and develop your breathing to be able to do that. Robert Merrill did yoga twice a day. Sang until he was 88. A lot of the guys use different things. Maybe didn't do yoga, but they used certain points. I asked Alfredo Kraus, what do you think about when you sing? And he said, un poco qui, un poco qui. A little bit here and a little bit there. That's the heart chakra. And what is this one up here? See that one up there? The third eye? So what if I sing in that one? Right? I breathe, always down my back. And then I use that staccato point that I've got set up right there in the middle of my forehead. And I sing that way. So that is also one of the chakras. Are there any more? Well, there's one that's a little hard to see on this particular picture, but there's one, see where the light's coming out of the top of his head there? See that? There's a chakra right there. And people learn to, particularly advanced yoga people, learn all of these and learn how to meditate on them. And if you meditate, take a deep breath and you go, now I'm going to hold the point of my breath right there. It becomes a form of meditation, doesn't it? See, I'm thinking here. I'm not thinking anywhere else. I'm going, la, ah, ah. See that? La, forse la soglia tinse e posa al fin. Where is that? Ella mi curra vita e quando il ciel ne è distante prima che mi presagio interno sull'arma corsa angoris mi spingesse. Well, you know, you're going to get into this and say, which one shall I use? Which one shall I do? And after all these years, I've been singing since I was 19. I'm 81, so you figure it out. You find the one that you like if you're a good meditator. If you're not a good meditator and you're not a quiet person who can sit, just sit down. I remember Chopra, the famous teacher, said, if you can sit in a perfect, Buddha posture and just sit there, or one of the great yoga postures, and just sit there and not move a hair for 4 hours, you can become a millionaire. I did. That's what he said. I did, because he did. And he said, it was a great, somehow you collect yourself, and while you're sitting there doing nothing, you're going to do something, so you start thinking about your chakras. Now, which ones have we done? We've done this one, and we did this one, right? You'll notice that this one in here does not exist. Caruso said, never sing the nasal cavity. I never sing in the ma, 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 ever. You always sing above it. If I want to sing in this one, you go above this line, hung, and you sing up here. So one of the great vocalists, especially one of the old ones, who I got from very old singers back when I was 22, was the hung, and they would sing hung and then sing above the line. So they'll go hung, and I sing there. La, hung, now guess what chakra that is? It's right there. See, just showed you that one on the chakra chart. Now, let's go back down. Here's the one I started with. La la la, la 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 la. Nothing to it. I breathe behind me, lean my breath on that staccato point. The singer's way of finding these chakras can either be just pure meditation, or you can do staccatos. And you use that staccato and just use that little point. That's all. That's all you need. Now, one of our favorite singers, Luciano Pavarotti, in a masterclass demonstrated his hand here. Well, let's see. What does that do? Look where that chakra is. See that one right there? See? That's the navel. And look right down here below the navel. It's about, 3 inches below the navel. So I do that one. Ha, 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 ha. And that's the way Pavarotti demonstrated. So I sing there. Cosa quella per me sono a cantare intorno mi vedo. I'm singing on the chakra that is really right in the center of my abdomen. And it is a fantastic way to control your breath, and you put your breath on that, and then you get so that you don't interrupt your breath, and you just leave it there on that spot. And then you pronounce everything accordingly. Someone put in the spot and go, ah, I, o. How are you today? You can understand me. I don't have to modify my vowels or modify my throat or do anything. Yeah, but can you do that up high? Oh, I don't have to do anything. I can leave my throat completely alone and you can understand everything I'm saying. Because I'm not doing anything in my throat. I'm not using my throat. If I got near the throat, I would use a chakra right here, which Lily Lehman called the breath stop. You stop the breath somewhere, you go, and you stop the breath there. So I asked Mario Delmonico, I said, well, what do you do? Doesn't your throat get tired, fatigued sometimes? Because he's saying monster repertoire. He said, oh, no. He said, I never let my breath get higher than here. And Lily Lehman called that the breath stop. You simply stop the breath before it ever gets into your throat. Remember, the only thing that goes through your throat is air. So air is your worst enemy or your best friend. If you can control your air, it's a great benefit to you. And if you cannot control your air, it can wreck your voice, right? So we go through. Now, the next one is one that's not depicted on this picture. I guess they're a little, I don't know what proper, but it's in the perineum. Now, I don't want to talk about where the perineum is. You guys can look it all up, but there's a perineum down under there, and you're going to sing there, and you go, ah, ah. Now, you can take a deep breath. I pull my abdomen in, like Lily Lehman and Caruso both recommended in their books. Pull the abdomen in. Also, Galli-Curci, you breathe in, right? And then you relax the breath onto the chakra. And in this case, it's the perineum, see? There are two chakras down there, by the way. It's the only place you got two that close together, and they're down there. So I'm going to take a breath. Now, there's my breath. Now I'm going to sing down there. What shall I do any different from that? Why don't I just sing that way? Well, then you begin to realize, wait a minute. If I sing it, I'm going, una furtiva lagrima. Could be the voice is a little overemphasized, and the music is not treated very nicely. So then you can learn to use these points of chakras to suit the music you're going to sing. I want to sing something sweet and light. And I go, una furtiva lagrima. Which chakra should I use? See? And I go, una furtiva lagrima. I put it up here. Una furtiva lagrima. Or I do go down to the last chakra in the Hatha chakra list. The last one is the tip of the tailbone. So I'm going to go to the tip of the tailbone. Breathe and go. Una furtiva lagrima negli occhi suoi spunto. Now, can I sing that music with that chakra? And that's the question. So the idea is to do these chakras and practice them. They're good in any way, and they do teach you to meditate, because by meditation I mean clear your mind of everything else except the task at hand. The task at hand right now is to sing. And sometimes you have to study music, you have to study words. So clear your mind of everything except the task at hand, which is to sit down and memorize music. Well, if you can keep your breath down on these chakras, there's no doubt about it, it's much, much easier to forget all the problems of the day and maybe tomorrow, and get your breath so it sits on these chakras and you have control. Control of emptying the mind. Now, there are different ways to get on these chakras. I've got a whole list of what I call instigators. Ba, 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 ba. The reason you do that one is because it closes the nose. Ma, 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 opens the nose. The M opens the nose. But if I do B, I go ba, 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 ba. That's an old-fashioned technical way that singers use to get the nose closed, to get the voice up in what they call the true mask, which is up here. This is the false mask. So if I want to do ba ba bob, I can check and see which chakra it's on. I'm going to just get it first. Ba 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 ba. Which chakra am I using? That one. And every time I go ba 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 ba, my voice ends up here. See? Ba 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 ba. So bob is a great exercise, just because it, first of all, you're holding one thought, one position, one placement all the time. That's all good. Then it closes the nose, which is really good. You'll find out if you ever have a chance to sing a lot of performances, you can try with an M once in a while, and one of your friends comes back and says, you know what? I couldn't hear you, man. Are you tired? What's the matter? You think you're just singing great. You can sing ma, 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 and there are false chakras and there are false placements, and they're false. The false mask is one of them, and you really got to distinguish between the good one and the bad one. The one that you want to sing is the one that just goes over the orchestra in a great big theater just fantastically, and permits you to sing all the notes and gives you all this volume needed that's sufficient, makes the voice sound good in the back of the theater, especially big enough for the repertoire, and makes the diction clear, makes the words clear. If I start singing, if I just want to say a bunch of words, what do? I'm going to breathe. I'll use this chakra. That's what they call the miniature cough. That's Manuel Garcia. miniature cough, and I go, ha, 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 ha. Now I've got that chakra penetrated, is the word they like to use in yoga. So I'm going to sing there. Now, do I have to modify my vowels for you to understand me? See, I go, ha. Why don't we go downtown? I'd like to go down and see what's down there. Do you think everyone will be there tonight? I don't know, a lot of people go walking or even hiking. And it's nice to see everyone enjoying the outdoors in this kind of wonderful weather. And all I'm doing is putting the lean of the breath here, and it causes it to resonate up here. And remember Alfredo Kraus? Un poco qui, un poco qui. So that brings up another point. How much shall we blow? How much air shall I blow on that little point? Wait a minute, we got to look. If I go, how much is that? What percentage of my puff is that? If that's 100 and this is 0, how much do I need to attach the breath to a chakra? See? We just went through the whole chakra chart. So from the top to the bottom, how are you today? How are you today? How are you today? How are you today? I'm feeling fine. How are you doing? Oh, I can be a lot better. And you drop it on down in the lower position. So what am I doing the whole time? I'm going to go down. I can hardly wait to go out and see everybody walking around. You can do that on every one of your chakras and practice not leaking air. But if the chakras are really penetrated, you won't leak air. The reason for all of this is to make your voice last forever. Remember, nothing goes through your trachea, your voice box, but air. So if the air goes through and it's going through wrong, it's leaking through your voice, or it's under pressure, you have to be careful. It can damage your voice. So your breath is your worst enemy. Or you get control of the breath and hold it somewhere against the diaphragm, against the chakra, and the breath never leaks. And I just showed you I can do all that text and all those words. I can go ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-gina, ba-ba-gina, ba-ba-gina, and the paper doesn't leak. There's nothing leaking through my throat. So there's nothing coming through my trachea that isn't converted to sound. The whole secret is we're supposed to convert air to sound. See? So I take a breath. Now, if I want to lean my breath on one of these chakras, I got to have something to lean. So I've got to be sure and fill up with what Manuel Garcia called the superabundance of the breath. Right? Caruso called it massive respiration, required for great singing. He required me, he would require me, if I could meet the guy, he would require me to breathe massively. See? What do? You have people talking about breathing all over the place. They breathe in their buttocks, they breathe in their noses, they breathe in their head, they breathe in their throats, they breathe in the chest, the shoulders go up like that. There are all these different things. What should we put? A lot of people want to hold their ribs out like this. If I hold my ribs out like this, now what does it do to my voice? Now how do I sing that way? What am I going to do? If that's my voice, see? You notice I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything to make it sound so thin and nasal and funny. I'm just holding my ribs up. So if I want to sing like that, I go. So it doesn't take care of my phonation at all, which means I'm going to have to do something to phonate my vowels to try to give some color. So I go. And all of a sudden everybody starts opening their mouth and the jaw's flapping like crazy. And you could breathe down behind you and let your ribs go and go. So I'm standing up square like a soldier. I'm not spreading my upper body. I'm spreading, if anything, I'm spreading my lower back. I'm breathing way down there and I'm opening up and I'm going. Now, I'm going to use this chakra. I go. I didn't do anything. My throat is completely relaxed like this. Look at that. But where's the chakra? When you breathe, when you take a breath and do a staccato afterwards, where is the pulse of your staccato? Staccato always pulses somewhere. Some people use that as a vocal technique. We used to call them diddlies because you do a bunch of fast falsettos, ha, 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 and you run them together but keep the agitation going. So you go, ha, 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 ha. That's one way to hold the point of leaning. In Italian, they used to call it il punto d'appoggio, the point of leaning of the breath. So I can do absolutely breathe way down behind me. I prefer Mr. Caruso and Lily Lehman's and Gali Corci and Joan Sutherland, and a number of singers I've known who pull the abdomen in. Helge Rosvenge, of course he was an advanced yogi, but Laurits Melchior is another one. They pull the belly, lower belly inward when they breathe because it adds compression to the lower back and makes the breath go down. The breath gets a little bit more, you get a little bit more of it, and of course anything you compress, compression causes energy. So if I compress it, I get more energy. So it's a much more energized sound. So if someone is singing straight tones all the time, it means there's just no compression. If I breathe and go, and if I pull my stomach in and go, Lily Lemon said to jerk your abdomen in an instant before you breathe. So I go, and there's my point of leaning, and guess what? It's right in one of the chakras. So you can very safely use the circle of the chakras, and always you must breathe somewhere to have a supply of air to feed these little monsters, right? They require not a whole lot of air. As I showed you before, there's no real air leaking. If I go, I can put those staccatos anywhere and none of them leak. So I put them on top of my head. I don't need to release air. I need to convert air from breath into sound. And I convert it by attaching it to the diaphragm, and Lily Lehman called that a breath stop. She said the breath is on the way up, and you simply close it. If I normally exhale, Tito Schipa and Claudia Muzio call that sighing. So I go, which chakra is that? And there it is. So it's all about breath behind you. Richard Tucker said to me the first time I sang for him, he said, breathe behind you and sing in front of you. Then I asked Giovanni Martinelli, he was 77 at the time, I said, what did they teach you 65 years ago? He said, qui respirare e qui postare. He said, here breathe, and then place it here. So it used to be a very, very common technique. Tetrasini talks about it. Lily Lehman said to lean the breath against the chest. Caruso was the slickest one where he describes. He said, breathe way down in your lower back, fill yourself up, and just do a contrary motion. All I have to do is an exhalation that is the opposite, a contrary motion to the inhalation. So the trick is, how did you inhale? You have to inhale a certain way. And then you exhale as a mirror image of the way you inhaled. You exhale it. You which chakra is that? So you'll find that chakras and breathing and singing are all very, very connected to each other. You sing where you can after you breathe. So every time I breathe, I get a completely relaxed throat. Look. My throat is completely loose. I might as well be snoring. I'm not doing anything. If I snore and go, which chakra does the snore give me? If I breathe in, I get a chakra out of a snoring inhalation. Where is that? See? If I breathe in, pulling my abdomen in, right? I breathe way in. Now do a contrary motion. Where is that punto d'appoggio, point of leaning? Where is that chakra? Which one is it? So it all depends on breathing. If you breathe, then you got to do something. A lot of people say, don't breathe. And sometimes they're correct, because if you breathe incorrectly, it can jam you up like that and you're choking. The whole secret is to breathe in a way that draws it away from the throat, and the throat, jaw, and tongue become invisible. That's also Manuel Garcia. You want to breathe so that this is invisible. Look how relaxed it is. Now where is it? See? People bend over like this and breathe. Way down the lower backs. They stand up and go, ha 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 ha. Now where's that one? Ha 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 ha. See? Breathe in. Okay. I hope you got that clear. If not, take yoga and do a lot of yoga until you understand the points of meditation called chakras. Okay? Bye.